Hey everyone, and welcome. We're diving into the NCSA's baseline National Cybersecurity Framework today. That's the National Cybersecurity Agency of the Maldives, and it's all built around something called the Essential 8. Now, we're going to zero in on one of the most critical controls for any system administrator out there, especially if you're living in a Windows-heavy world, and that is configuring Microsoft Office macro.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the threat. What's actually lurking in your inbox. Then we'll zoom out to see the national defense strategy. After that, it's all about the nitty-gritty of controlling those macros. We'll also figure out how to measure your own defenses. What's your maturity level? And finally, we'll talk about the big goal, what a defined defense actually looks like.
All right, let's jump right in and set the scene. We're talking about a threat that shows up in, believe it or not, one of the most common everyday tools in any business, just a simple document.
For anyone who's a system administrator, this is a constant headache, right? Especially in those big Windows enterprise environments. Picture this. A user gets an email, they open an attachment. Maybe it's a Word doc or an Excel sheet, and poof, just like that, the front door is wide open for an attacker. So what's the magic trick here? How does that actually work?
Well, the culprit is something called an Office macro. Now, macros were invented to be helpful, right? They're all about efficiency. It's just a series of commands that automates a task for you. But, and this is a big but, you have to think about what that really means. It's basically a little mini program running inside your document. And just like any program, it can be written to do something good or something really, really bad.
Okay, so we've established the threat. The big question is, how do we fight back? This is where the solution comes in. Let's take a look at how the National Cybersecurity Agency of the Maldives, the NCSA, structures their entire national cyber defense strategy.
Now, you have to understand, the NCSA framework isn't just a bunch of friendly suggestions. No, this is a foundational baseline. The whole point is to create one single standard level of security for all government bodies to protect their digital stuff. It's really all about getting everyone on the exact same page, playing by the same rules.
And this quote from the framework itself just nails it. The mission is to ensure a consistent and robust approach. What does that mean? It means no weak links. No guesswork. It's all about building a defense that's predictable, totally reliable, and just plain strong everywhere.
And here they are, the Essential 8. This is the heart and soul of the whole framework. And I want you to look closely. Our topic for today, configure Microsoft Office macros. Notice where it is. It's right up there in the top 3. This isn't some minor detail or an afterthought. It's considered just as fundamental as patching your apps or your entire operating system. That alone should tell you how incredibly important this one control is.
Okay, so let's get into the weeds a little bit. The goal of this control sounds pretty simple, right? Block or control macros from untrusted sources. But the key word there is untrusted. What does that actually mean when you're on the job?
This is probably the most important distinction any admin needs to get right. On one side, you've got your untrusted sources. Think of this as the Wild West of the internet, right? We're talking email attachments from people you don't know, files you download from some random website, all that stuff. Then on the other side, you have trusted sources. These are the places you control, like a secure internal network drive where the finance team keeps their approved spreadsheets, or macros that are digitally signed by a developer you trust. The rule of thumb is dead simple. If it comes from the outside, it gets blocked. Period.
Okay, so it's one thing to say, yeah, we block macros, but it's a completely different thing to know how well you're actually doing it. Are there gaps? And this is where this framework gets really, really useful. It gives you a way to actually measure your progress.
To do that, the NSCA uses what's called a maturity model. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like a report card for your security. It's not just a simple pass or fail. It's a whole system for looking at how well you've put a control in place, and more importantly, it gives you a roadmap to improve.
Now, the model technically has 5 levels, but let's focus on the key steps in the journey. You pretty much start at level 1, which they call initial or ad hoc, and that's exactly what it sounds like: chaotic, inconsistent, a bit of a mess. The first big goal is to get to level 3, which is defined. This is where your process is solid and repeatable. And way down the road, the ultimate goal is level 5, optimizing, where everything is practically automated and adapting on its own.
So let's really hammer this home. What is the difference between level 1 and level 3? Well, level 1, or ad hoc, is where maybe some people have macros blocked, but there's no official company-wide policy. It's totally reactive. Level 3 is the complete opposite. You have a documented policy. It's enforced everywhere, probably through something like group policy. Every single admin knows exactly what the standard is. It's literally the difference between hoping you're secure and knowing you are.
Okay, so with this whole maturity model in mind, what's the one thing that every single organization needs to take away from this? What's the target you should be aiming for?
It's one number. 3. Maturity level 3. The NCSA says this is the absolute minimum target level for foundational security. It's the standard everyone has to meet. Not 1, not 2. The goal is level 3.
And why is level 3 so important? Well, because this is where real security actually starts. It means your macro policy is standardized, not just random. It means it's written down so there's no confusion. It means the rules are applied to everyone from the top boss all the way down to the newest intern. And crucially, it's actively enforced. That, right there, is the definition of a solid, reliable defense.
So I want to leave you with this one question to think about. Take a hard look at your own organization right now. Is your approach to Office macros just ad hoc? Is it something that kind of happens inconsistently, maybe relying on a bit of luck? Or is it truly defined? Have you documented it, and are you enforcing it? Because making that shift from ad hoc to defined is probably one of the single most powerful things you can do to protect your entire organization.